All right, man. So Jalen Duren actually signs his contract reportedly with the Detroit Pistons, excuse me. I know y'all gonna let me know that in the comments. So it's the Pistons. I apologize. I go back and forth. So yeah, he signs his contract with the Pistons. $40 million a year, $140. That's where he at with it. So he had $140. 1 second. The $140 is the sweet spot for Jalen Duren. 160, excuse me, 4 years is $40 million a year. It was something I said they should have did the other day. It didn't make sense that they didn't want to do that. It was like just prorated. I thought it'd be more closer to $40 million for 3 years, but it seemed like the Pistons compromised. Duren compromised maybe on the 5th year, because I think I think that would have been 200 for 5 if my math is right. So that'd been 200 million. So I told y'all it was gonna come when you least expect it. Shout out to Jake Fisher. It's reported that he's expected to sign, so hasn't officially signed yet, but he's expected to sign. And I pretty much knew this was gonna be the vibes. They was paying him 36. What's $4 million more? It's expected for them to give Asar like 4 years, 152. So. And I had a video that's coming. I did before this news broke about the salary cap, and Pistons still in good shape. They're the bottom half in salary cap, and none of the bottom 10 teams they with in salary cap even are remotely close to the success of the Pistons with 60 wins. They're the only team in the bottom 10 that legit made the playoffs without a play-in. Okay, so I mean it's good vibes, man. It's good vibes, So they got a deal done. I was like 40 was fair, 40 for 4. I'm thinking more 40 for 4, 40 for 3. That was fair. Prorated it a little bit. I thought they might gun for 3 with, the collective bargaining agreement. Still trying to get this thing together. With the collective bargaining agreement coming up in about 3 years. So I thought 3 would be the vibes, but yeah, I thought three would be the vibes, but yeah, they got 4, So if they really, really, I'm trying to make sure I get this camera angle perfect. If they really believe, in his talent, I think they would have did the 3, or maybe the Pistons pushed for the 3. I don't know. Maybe they really believe in his talent. Maybe they would have did the 3. And then would have cashed in and collected bargaining agreement before ain't bad, some security if you get injured or something like that. And I was a believer in them drafting him. I wanted them to draft him. They drafted him. I think he's cashed in. He's done pretty well. Wanted to be here. And I think, you're going around with a 40 ball in your pocket, I think legitimately most people felt that he didn't deserve. I'm not saying what he do or don't deserve. I'm not an NBA appraiser. Didn't deserve the full $287 million. But I know right now, had he done his part in the playoffs, they probably would have made the finals. I don't think they would have beat the Spurs. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But if they would have made the finals and he would have performed the way he should have performed. They would have made the finals. He probably would have got the whole $287 million. But one thing I figure out, everything happened for a reason. I will say that sometimes it feel like your world is crumbling, it's falling. But sometimes things must be destroyed to be built the right way, or to be built in general, or rebuilt. So I always tell myself that when I'm going through tough times, I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I feel like it's the end of the world. But somehow we persevere, and, through the power of God, I persevere. I don't know if everybody believe in, but yeah, man, maybe if you would have got the extra 10, maybe, who knows how the universe, where you get hurt or you be somewhere you ain't got no place to bleed. Everything happened for a reason. It happened is the way it's supposed to happen, so I'm happy for him, man. I'm a huge fan. Yeah, we was a little bit frustrated with him in the playoffs, but, I think he'll figure it out, man. I don't think he plays that position to have to wait for him not to figure, like James Harden, that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight for James Harden to have to figure out, having the ball in your hands and, and him not really knowing how to play off the ball. That it's a lot of weight. Duren could do some things like that finals game where Kobe didn't shoot good at versus the Celtics, but he had 20 rebounds. Duren can do something like that. He can improve defensively. He can improve his free throw shooting. He can improve rebounding. At the position Duren plays, it is not as dependent, even all the time, it's not dependent on, the points that you always put up. I remember Anthony Davis, when they won the national championship in Kentucky, he didn't shoot the ball particularly well. He was the most dominant player on the floor because defensively is what he done. So also, I feel like one of the major reasons I feel like Jalen Duren will figure it out is because the position he play, he can affect the game. He cannot record like one statistic and affect the game. Change the way people shoot, deter people from the rim. You know what I'm saying? He can just do little things, and the Pistons do enough. Rebound, tips, tip outs, offensive rebounds. It's just the little things that he needs to do. And, obviously the ball handling is, he has the frame to be a really good ball handler. Really good ball player. The ball handling, the assist, the pass, the coordination, the speed, the quickness, the jump shot don't look bad. The handles don't look bad. He figured out his durability, his conditioning issues. I think he's ready to pop, to be honest. I really think he's ready to blow. So hopefully he got a good support system around him. He do what's right with his money. He had that money for a long time. He passed it down to his grandchildren. They pass it down to his children. So, hopefully he gets some generational wealth going, passing it down, be smart with his money, have a little fun with it, and as it is what it is. But sometimes the brights are too light, for some people, but I think he'll be okay, man. I really do. So I know financially he happy at this point, obviously. And I think moving forward, gotta deliver. It ain't about the 40. Next time we want to get to 60. You always got to keep your eye ahead sometimes. You always got to keep your eye ahead of the curve. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully, he continue to improve, work on this game. I just see the framework for being a really good ball player. I see he just right there. I think he can be really good. When you look at Drummond, it just was no particular skill outside of rebounding that Drummond stood out on. I see that Duren could be a really good offensive player, a really good defensive player. But that's just my belief. And, if I'm wrong, most people going to come back here and let me know that I'm wrong, So, but I'm happy he got his money. I'm happy that he back, people saying what he doing don't deserve. That's not my place. I'm not an NBA appraiser. But I'm always happy to see brothers get their money and feed their family. That's what I'm happy about. So, anybody that can, feed their family, put chili in their motherfucking bowl, and, especially here at JD Day, I think in Delaware. Shout out to him, man. Because I always love to see people give back to their community and shit, But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, find me on X, Instagram, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram. Everywhere. I'm heavy on Facebook too, y'all. So check me out. We're doing a great job over there. The link's in the description. Say find me everywhere. Peace.